Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. All right, so the case of Ewelina Sasak, who met an unfortunate end on April 25th, 2023. The context of the crime is attacked, found in bathtub, barely alive, and would eventually succumb to her wounds. The police, on entering the scene, their first impressions were she had been brutally attacked. It was later then determined that it was a suicide. And a viewer suggested the case. Thank you very much. I did a preliminary look at the case. Opalite 111. And I'm going to do a screen grab here at this stage. This is where I'm going to start the recording. So I've pretty much got up to here. There's not much info, and I didn't want too much, but the premise, date range, apparently around about, I don't know, the 11th to the 15th of April to the 25th, she was sending her mom text messages that alarmed her mom, right? So I believe from April 12 onwards, round about there to the 15th, until the day she passed, sending messages to her mom. So I started the range then April 9. So we get a run-up and build-up of events. It was also in the articles that I did read, Ewelina believed she was being followed for whatever reason. It's not said why she believed she was being followed in the articles that I read. Now, to give you context why I got to here and started recording is I had April 25 first. That's the event day, and it would have been late in the evening. But we'll get to the nitty-gritty. Then, having started then April 9, I was physically, manually typing out the days to start getting a sense of the flow energy. And when I got to April 16, 2023, that for me pinged on me hard that day, April 16. And we'll note the anomaly of sevens, 3 sevens, anomalous. Something is amiss. Something is out of kilter, imbalance. Alarming that it is sevens. Alarming that we have an 11-2 in the middle of the day, 11-2 lawmakers. And I actually mentioned this in the previous video with Mercedes Vega, that when you have sevens on a crime scene, and I believe it's a crime scene, I try to discount the possibility that law enforcement are involved, because 7 is law enforcement. Now, the problem here is the law enforcement focus is reinforced by the 11-2, because 11-2 also is the lawmaker, the higher ups, people that make law, policy, Congress, Parliament, Cabinet, whatever country that is, but it's policy makers. And of course, this case comes out of the UK. And we see on that day the 22 as an emotional marker. Now, I need to make it orange, but let's just do the preview first, because I'm just giving you context where I am. So for me, April 16, I was looking for a day where it begins, if you like. And I believe April 16, 2023 is a day to be investigated on her end, to see what was going on with her, what was the interaction, what's the digital fingerprints around this day, and who were the contacts during that day. The 22 is we got an emotional marker. There's an outburst. It's larger than normal. 20, large. It's not a disagreement or a minor, oops, sorry honey, I bumped you while I was getting past or whatever. This is like serious. Now the anomalous sevens, 3 sevens, 11-2, all legal, law enforcement. I mean, you might as well be standing in the middle of a police station type thing. That you have a 27-9 outcome, which is not very good here in this case. And I see I haven't even finished off that day, actually. So we've got, now I'm going to have to continue. Because there was that 17-8. Now I've switched, so you've possibly seen the next time traveler version, but it should be 18-9. Because I was about to say 27-9, and that doesn't make sense. So 27-9, 18-9, this is not good, ladies and gentlemen. And this is purely for those of you that have had personal readings, will know I'll go over a month to pick up any messaging, and I was doing the same year, but going day to day. And I haven't continued. April 16. Now we'll note the outcome 18-9 matches the 18-9 on April 25. I technically don't need to fill in that gap, actually. I'm not going to. And the reason being is because after stopping on April 16, I then went to April 26 to 28. So these are the 3 days after the event where I'll pick up the story. And it's quite involved. It's not as simple as A, B, C, if you get my drift. Because people have other lives. People have secret lives. And I'll try not to get personal, but there is something going on here that is underhandedness, behind closed doors, wheeling and dealing. But it's not wheeling and dealing policy making, it's other stuff of the This is dawning upon me now. That's April 28th. So now we're going to start marking off. So I'm going to quickly mark off that 22 orange quickly. So there's, for me, April 16, that's when I'm not discounting the fact that something was going on before, but I'm saying on April 16 was the day that set in motion the outcome that would be, as we know it today, April 25. Now, April 28, the final day on the far right, April 28, here are the perps, the motive, the situation. 14.5, here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Band of brothers. Men behaving badly. Group of men. 32.5 of the destructive nature. 32.5 of the destructive nature. And they are mean bastards. Now, having got that far, we're going to go deeper because there's more information here, right? 37.10.1, and this is where I've started. April 26, 37.10.1, it's already highlighted in orange for me, is we've got higher ups again making decisions. Higher ups making decisions. So whatever Ewelina stumbled upon or was involved in, it involves politicians, lawmakers, higher-ups, who, for whatever the circumstance, and we'll try to go deeper, let's not be vague, but I'm just giving where I am now, involved in some kind of sorry, I just realized those are the previous. Okay, this is the right slide. Ewelina involved with higher ups in whatever capacity, shape, or form, little groups, was witness to something or the other. And I think the something is a murder of that nature, of that seriousness, of that severity. Whether it was a discussion about a murder to happen or heard about something, but she knew something about a murder, or the outcome of that event information was murder. Now, I wrote there, prelim in blue, witness to a murder or was involved in a murder. So, I'm not, that's just a prelim. Now, when I say was involved in a murder, she must have been that close to the situation. That's the vibe I'm getting from the outcome of April 25 and leading until April 28. That's where I am at the moment. Now, I kept on getting like pings of, there's obviously a lot of rumor and speculation in the UK about pedo rings and higher ups and their child rings and all that kind of thing. Human trafficking. There certainly are numbers here to suggest of that nature, but I don't believe it is. Okay. Let's just have a look here. So we're looking for the motive. So I do believe in terms of motive, there's definitely a thing about money. The 10-1 is very prominent. So if we look at April 28, April 28, I'm actually going to mark as blue. That's going to be our summary day, right? So there we got the answer there. So 28, 10, 1, 28, 2, 8 is the argument or disagreement, conflict, 10, 1 pertaining to the group, but also large sums of money. So that large sums of money, however you get it through whatever fraudulent means, from life insurance to big inheritance policies or whatever, it's that level of money. The 14-5 is the orange flag here for me. Technically, in fact, the 14-5, I'm going to make a red flag. And the reason why I'm doing that, 14-5 is the confirmation of the group, like a gang, or like a little mafia ring, or whatever it is. Which alerts me that this is a crime. 14-5 is a negative grouping of people. The perpetrators on the scene here. And that 39-12-3 is taking control of a situation. So there's definitely there's a very very good likelihood, and I'm getting confirmation, because 7 is about witness. So I'm going to underline now, witness to a murder. And I'm going to rule out was involved in a murder. So I've just had a second, possibly third confirmation that that is the case. That's why I'm now doing that. So I believe witness to a murder, and it's plausible. We've got the 11, 2, 7s, 4, facts, figures, 4, facts, figures, 7. But we got all these 7s here, hey? So leave no witnesses or people that can talk behind is what she's got involved in now. How did she get involved in this kind of thing? Now, that's a different kind of investigation. But I'm going to try have a look. But it doesn't feel like a regular kind of business or situation. There seems to be a little bit of cloak and dagger stuff going on here. Whether it's at an organized crime level, or it's a group of criminals, but are connected to higher ups. It just smacks of the and he's just pinged on me now as well. This case, I did it recently, Joseph, if I remember. I'm just checking on my channel. 2290. Here we go, Joseph Casalero. found in the bathtub with his arms being slashed. Now, ruled as suicide in his case as well, but the wounds were so severe that it would be impossible for Joseph to have cut both his wrists. Impossible, based on the evidence or the autopsy, let's say. And when the police entered she was staying in a hotel situation, but there was conflict. They didn't want to let her out. She didn't want to leave, and they were kicking her out. But when the police entered, the first impression that she had been brutally attacked. And in my opinion, when you look at April 25, now let me just put an arrow in that zone, but I will just we have the presence of the 36-9. Very horrible death. 6 does allude to knife and blood. But the problem is you have the compound 3-6. Not very nice. With the outcome 18-9, which is a murder. Now, we'll note the same disguise or situation as Mr. Joseph, that when we get to April the 26th year for Ewelina, 26H staging, and I've just been reminded, and I don't mean to trigger anyone, but in terms of method, women generally won't cut themselves like they found Ewelina. And please, if you're not feeling well and you're dealing with a bit of conflict, please reach out to your local people, even if it's your local GP. And there must be a toll-free line somewhere in the city. And if you need to, please reach out. But it's upsetting that we're seeing how women are just set up for disaster. Same with Mercedes Vega. Innocent bystander caught in a web of bullshit. April 26, what we know about the case and the crime scene is fake. Is a fake. We note the presence of the 33 big outburst there. Feminine energy outburst. Murder. To keep her under control, 12-3. Control. Decided by the higher ups, 37-10-1. Decided. Now the 7 is there as well. You're looking at judicial people. You're looking at court people. Higher up people that are in their little groups of dirty 14-5s. Little pedo groups. April 27. We got evidence, all these numbers, there's so much going on. I actually get the impression, to be quite honest. I know the one viewer said there was another name, but I couldn't find any info for some reason. But what I am getting the feeling of is that there was more than Ewelina being taken down during this time. I feel she was part of, and that's what I'm saying, there's a lot going on in this time zone. There's a lot going down. A lot of people closing doors, tying up loose ends because of their dirty little pedo 14-5 illicit groups in the shadows of the higher-ups. Lots of collective. There's a lot of people involved here. So let me tell you why. And in fact, I'm going to draw a line here because this is the second time I've been shown this. So let me show you something here. Just quickly, you'll probably see the line already. I just want to give you perspective here. All right. So you see the line starting 36.9, So we got 36.9 along that line the next day, 37.10.1, 38.11.2, and the 39.12.3. So 36.9 is we've got this gruesome murder, and there's multiple murders happening simultaneously in this time frame, I believe. They were culling people that were threats. There's something big going on here. So that when we get to April the 26th, 37.10.1, the collective has been informed of the decision and the outcome, and all is well in Hell Camp, or Camp Hell, whoever these people are. 38.11.2 again shows an increase in communication amongst people. So there's collectives involved here. There's little satellite groups that possibly make up the whole. Does that make sense? Does that resonate? So a very interesting case here. Definitely big money involved. There's definitely groups and networks involved. Definitely, let me just check something else here. It's without a doubt illicit activities. 14.5 on the black market in the negative. You're talking men and young boys, men and young girls, older women and younger boys. You're talking all those kind of little pedo groups. 13.4 on the scene. You got children on the scene here. This is potentially quite a mess. Now, I'll just say the leading up April 9 to April 16, and I don't believe I'll continue. If for whatever reason there's a second episode, maybe it'll be in there. The build-up to even April 25, but the build-up from 9 to 16 particularly, we can already... so let me just say, April 9, there's already something going on here already as well. There's already something going on April 9. There was definitely some serious things going on around here. Now, of course, I'm taking it on the perspective of, and I will just say, Whatever was happening in this situation, what I'm talking about, what's happened here with Ewelina and the activities around all of this, is not what we'll see on a day-to-day basis. This is all happening behind closed doors, clandestine little meetings, groups, events of that nature. And it's just interesting from a numerology point of view that you get the sequence of numbers out of nowhere. I mean, who would look to think from April 9 to April 16, 2023? Have a look at that sequence of dates and tell me what happened. Of course, we've got the context. Found in a bathtub, bloody as hell. Slashed from left to right all over the place. It reminds me of the... I've just been reminded of... she's got such a lovely big smile. Gosh, I've got to include her. I'll find her. Greenberg, was it? There we go. Ellen Greenberg. The case of Ellen Greenberg. Now, you can watch that particular video, but there's a picture from the autopsy which shows numerous frontal head wounds, numerous, let's say, behind the head wounds on Miss Greenberg, on Ellen Greenberg. Yet, miraculously, it was classed as a suicide. So someone will stab themselves like 10 times in the back of the head. Oh, that didn't work. Let me stab myself 10 times in the forehead. And then it gets ruled as a suicide. Okay. Same with Joseph. His tendons were so severed that it would be impossible that he would have cut his right hand side. It would just be impossible because technically he doesn't have a left hand anymore with those tendons so severely severed. So how did his right hands get cut? And his right hands were as severed. So on the scene, April 16, 11/2, we got politicians in play. In fact, I didn't... Why? Oh, no, I'm looking at the previous one. Oh, yes, no, I've got it there, beg your pardon. Oh, sorry, give me 1 second, making sure I didn't... April 16, 11/2, I'm doing a final marker. Let me check the timing on the recording. I don't want to go too hectic. But I just stopped here because I believe, for me, the most important, of course, I have the event there. I've got it. And we've got the 3 days after. You can definitely see what's happened here. In the article, April 12 to 15, she started texting her mom. Something's amiss. Now, I'm just saying, in terms of Ewelina, she could have just innocently gone to some little party, innocently, and then becomes witness to something that is a little bit more than a party, or something that she wasn't expecting. And then, of course, at some point, the perception might have been or changed to what happens if she opens her mouth. And there's higher-ups involved, policymakers, that level, even high-class lawyers. You're even talking judges, you're talking the works. And the day that I stopped, I went manually, April 9, manual, April 10, manual, April 11, all the way to April 16, and I was just waiting for that one day. And there's that day. The outcome of that day matches the day of the murder. 11-2 also in the day. Sevens, anomalous sevens. Wow, that's crazy. I'm just realizing it even more so now. I guess at this point of the recording, which is currently sitting on 36 minutes, it may have been trimmed down slightly for coughs and bumps and ips. I would need to go deeper into the case to understand, is there a bigger context involved here? Someone did alert me that it's possibly linked to the same viewer, beg your pardon, is linked to the death of Nicola Boulay. And I did do that video. I'm just going to grab her. So date of birth 27 January 2003. So it was about 2 months after the Nicola Boulay case. Yeah. Could she know something? So I can either do this. We can conclude the show here. It's definitely not suicide. So let's just say that it's definitely not suicide. Definitely not suicide. There is background movement here. There's background role players here. There's decisions made by background players, higher-ups, behind closed doors, in their pedo circles. It would be interesting to go back to the Nicola Boulay case and just see. So 27, 9, 10, 17, 8. All right, let's do this. I'll pause the recording here. I'm not getting the, let's say, go ahead to compare, but I can certainly say, that's what I'm saying, I won't, I'll have this video ready tomorrow. I'm recording this on Friday night. It's going to involve a lot of work. And I need to finish the book. It's almost done. The book's almost done. A few more pages left. The top part of the book has already been checked. All right, so let's leave it here for now. Please leave your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the case. And perhaps when I get a gap soon, we go a bit deeper and see if there is a connection with the Nicola Boulay case. But certainly in this case, Ewelina, that's definitely not suicide. All right, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.